I've always been interested in shiny Pokemon, and over the course of the last few generations, we've seen some really insanely cool Pokemon designs that are shiny designs and some less good ones. But there comes those times where we notice that the shinies we used to know might have changed with the newest generation. So today we're going to count down the top 5 Pokemon that changed their shinies between generations. Now before we start this video, if we can drop 100 likes on this video, I'll drop a part 2 in just a few days, and I hope you guys enjoy, so let's kick off with number 5. Number 5. Now, coming in number 5, we have ourselves Cleffa, which has a huge change from Generation 2 and with all the forward generations. Now, if you look at the way that Shiny originally looked, it had a very dark pink to it, like a very strong pink color, and then its ears had a very strong kind of green color to them. But as the generation kept going, like Generation 3, Generation 4, and Generation 5, and Generation 6, the Shiny changed from being this really dark pink color into a more light-ish color, a really more light pink color, which is really interesting. I actually feel like the original one was a really big eyesore, and I do prefer the newer ones. They look just generally better. Of course, I really do also like the original one, but I feel like the new ones are a better improvement on the just genuinely on the design. So let's go to number 4. Number 4. Now, coming in next is going to be Geodude. The current Geodude has a very golden style color to it when it is shiny, and that of course is just, I mean, if you look at it currently, it just, you know, it looks really nice. I like just the golden color. And we've also seen that the Alolan Geodude has a very orangish color to its shiny to it, but back in Generation 2, the original Geodude, which was shiny, had a very brownish color to it, and I've got to say, I'm really happy they changed it to gold color in, you know, just in the general games, and then in Alola and, you know, in Sun and Moon, they changed it, the Alolan one, to an orange color, which just suits Geodude so well. Like, you know, with it being just a rock type and a rock essentially just flying around and floating around, having a golden one is just badass, and I really like that. So I think it's a good change that they made. Game Freak really did well there, and I really do appreciate that. The original one was kind of boring, was just brown colored, and I feel like a golden one is so much more badass. Let's go to number 3. Number 3. Now, coming to number 3, we have ourselves Furret. Now, Furret had one of the craziest changes. Being one of the cutest Pokemons from Gen 1, it really had an eyesore of a shiny. The original Gen 2 shiny had a very strong pink color, but all the future generation ones have gotten just a way brighter shiny pink to them, which just fits so much better. It's a million times better. I just mean, if you look at this design, just take a bright look at this thing. It is, oh, it's such an eyesore. Like, the pink and the kind of brown, they're so unmatching and they're so strong. The newer one has a way brighter color to it and is actually beautiful. It fits a million times better. I do really appreciate that Game Freak did this. The change was needed and definitely was a good one. Let's go to the next one. Number 2. Now, coming in number 2, we have ourselves Zangoose. Now, Zangoose might not seem like it had a major change in shinies, but if you look at the shiny Zangoose's claws, you'll notice how they become a lot more brown colored instead of the original red color. But overall, the shiny is amazing, I gotta say, but just this little tiny change, you can kind of see from Generation 3 and forward, it becomes way more brown each time. And now in the, I guess in the latest generations, the claws are full-on brown, I feel like. And hey, that still works, I gotta say, it still looks nice, but I do feel like the red ones fit a lot better, kind of giving a callback to its original style and the way it looked, you know, without shiny. And I've gotta say, the blue color on the shiny overall is amazing. Just kind of doing that switch from red to blue, you know, it's perfect. I love those kind of changes, especially with the claws being red in the start. The change to brown was not really the best, but still, it's a minor change. I still think it's interesting though, but either way, let's go to number 1. Number 1. Now, coming in number 1, we have ourselves Melodic. Now, I'm gonna say this Pokemon is definitely number 1 place because it deserves it, and it definitely is one of the most loved Pokemon ever. Melodic is just beautiful, but here's the thing about its shiny, I've gotta say, which is really interesting. So the original one, back in Generation 3, had a very interesting style to it. If you just look at it in general, its tail turned a bit yellow and orange, and its like hair and whatnot became kind of blue, a really light blue. But then in Generation 4, it got a lot brighter. Its colors got a lot more vibrant, and they weren't as stale, if you kind of could say that way. The tail changed a bit more. It turned red on the little dots instead of being kind of orangish. And then in Generation 5, it changed again, and they kind of changed the colors again, kind of made them slightly more tame, if that makes any sense. But then in Generation 6, it was totally rehauled, and they changed the eyebrows to purple, and they changed the tail back to the kind of original form, and they added black to it instead of the red color that they originally had, and like, it just added a bit more black and a bit more like, kind of paler colors to it. It wasn't as bright anymore, which was, it was in Generation 5, Generation 4, and those two had really, really bright colors to it, but the Generation 6 one was way, way more pale. It just didn't have much like substance to it. And I feel like the original, like the one between Generation 4 and Generation 5, those two were perfect. The latest one, just not the biggest fan of it. But either way, guys, that's going to be the end of the video. If you did enjoy, drop a like below, and please do subscribe for future videos. And also, if we can drop 100 likes on this video, I'll drop a part 2 to this episode, or this video series, whatever you want to call it, this top 5 series, quote unquote, in a few days. If you guys do want to see that, please let me know. And either way, that's going to be the end of the video. I'll catch you trainers next time. Bye bye.